Hello folks and welcome to a Wise Game video, where in today's video I'm going to be covering Dragonflight. What I'm actually going to be diving deep into in today's video is of course the PvP system when it comes to getting all the PvP gear in the game. So we're going to be looking at things like how to get these pieces, what's upgradable, what does upgradable mean. So this video is going to be a little bit longer than the videos I've been making recently, but it's going to have tons of information. I did come out with videos like this not too long ago, but this is going to be a full guide. Because with Season 1 here, and actually doing these activities myself now, I have more of an understanding. And we'll also be looking at some world PvP events. So all that's left to do is grab yourself a drink, and let's dive right into this. Okay, now looking at this list, we see that we start off with gold. So yes, there is certain PvP pieces in the game that requires gold. And then next, we have honor points. So gathering the honor points, and also the honor pieces needed for PvP. This also goes with conquest points. And then newly added to Dragonflight is this currency called Trophy of Strife, along with bloody tokens, plus more. So when it comes to the gold in the game, I'm not going to go into how you make gold in the game because there's so many different ways of doing that, and we've been making gold in World of Warcraft for many years. But I am going to show you what you can use gold for when it comes to getting your PvP pieces and weapons in this game. And simply, one of the starter sets when it comes to PvP, once you hit level 70, you can now buy from the auction house, which is of course going to require using gold. And the names of these pieces of gear right here is called the Crimson Combatants. Now depending on the class that you play, it's going to have a different name after that. So these right here that we're looking at start off at item level 333. And again, you have to be level 70. Now you want to make sure if you want to get actual PvP gear that it says this right here. Equipped increases item level to 398 in arenas and battlegrounds. You may come across other Crimson gear in the game, but if it does not say that, it's not true PvP gear. So if you just hit 70 and you want to start getting involved in PvP and you got the gold, starting off with some of these pieces may be a great advantage, as these do not require honor points yet. Okay, now located in the new town, we also have a crafting station where people can place orders or also buy orders. And the one when it comes to PvP gear is called the Infurious gear, which is a whopping item level of 382. And again, this is also going to require some gold at times. And then whatever materials you're going to need to get this job done. Again, I'm not going to break down and go into crafting in this game. I haven't even started one myself. But I just want to make you aware that this is another option of getting PvP gear in the game. So we can notice at the very bottom again, it says once equipped, it increases item level to 424 in arenas and battlegrounds. So these are actual true PvP pieces. So again, just typing in the search bar, Infurious, you should be able to see some populate when it comes to PvP gear, which is a great item level. Okay, now next up is the main PvP vendor location. And the name of this room is called the Gladiator's Refuge, which is again located in Valdraken, or Valdraken, at the coordinates of 3946. So first, it's time to look at the honor vendor. And he is located in the back of this building. Now this is where you're going to start needing the PvP currency now to purchase these weapons and gear. So as we notice, in Dragonflight, all the PvP gear somehow has the name of Crimson in it. And the item level for these during Season 1 is item level 340. And these are upgradable 5 levels. A little more about upgrading gear in just a moment. Now, we could also notice now that at the bottom, these are also increased in a PvP situation, such as arenas and battlegrounds. So these are going to go up to 411 item level in these situations. And again, buying these just requires honor points. And then next to him is the Conquest vendor, which was added during Season 1. And these are item level 382, which increases to item level 424 in arenas and battlegrounds. These are very similar to those that we've seen at the crafting station for the Furious gear. And again, obviously for these, you're going to need Conquest points. Conquest points is given by doing rated arenas and also rated battlegrounds RBGs. And then each day, they also give you some conquests for getting a win in each battleground. But you only get one of these per day. So you're going to get conquest points for the first random battleground of that day that you win. And then this also goes for random epic battlegrounds, which is normally 40 mans, arena skirmishes, and then whatever the brawl is during that time. And then also doing world objectives. You have to be in war mode for this. And there is some weeklies and things like that that you could do as far as world PvP goes, and some of those may reward you conquest points. If we head back towards the entrance of this building, we're going to have a couple of more vendors. Now these vendors are going to be different than what we've seen in the past. This is where we're going to start using the newer currency that they added in Dragonflight. So things like bloody tokens and trophy of strife. So the first vendor that we're going to see to the right of when you enter this building, he's going to have these blue pieces of gear and weapons. And these are called the Drakebreakers. And this is where you're going to need bloody tokens. Now bloody tokens is obtained by doing many things in world PvP. And then these pieces of gear could also be obtained by doing world PvP also, by certain objectives. So the item level of this gear is 366, and this does increase in arenas and battlegrounds to 408. But if you notice, these are not upgradable. A little more about this gear in just a moment. Now the big guy standing to the left of the last guy that we just looked at, this guy sells some pretty good PvP gear. And these are also called the Drakebreakers, but these are epic quality. So these start off at item level 385, and they scale up to 421 in arenas and battlegrounds. And the currency needed for this vendor right here is the Trophy of Strife, plus those blue pieces of gear that we just looked at from the vendor standing next to him. So as we see right here, to get this piece right here, you would need the blue Drakebreaker. And just mousing over the icon is going to let you know the piece of gear that you need. So basically it comes down to one thing. To achieve these pieces of gear right here, the 385, you need to go out and farm bloody tokens, Trophy of Strife, and then also collect these 365 blue pieces of Drakebreaker gear. Now you may be wondering, how come this guy has gear that's actually higher than the Conquest gear when it comes to the base item level of 385, where the Conquest is 382. But however, once in an arena or a battleground, we could see that this gear scales up to 421, where the Conquest gear scales up to 424. Well, the reason for this is because in World PvP, PvP gear does not scale up. And getting the Drakebreakers in the game is World PvP gear also. So that's the reason why the item level at the top remains a little bit higher than the actual PvP Conquest gear, so that you stand a fighting chance against those that have Mythic and Raid gear. But bottom line, the epic Drakebreakers is some great gear and weapons to achieve in the game for both PvP and World PvP. But again, if we notice, you cannot upgrade these pieces of gear. So talking about upgrading, let's give that a look now. So now here's the upgrade NPC, who is located in the back of the same building, and he is just to the right of the conquest vendor. Now the only items at this time that you could upgrade when it comes to PvP items is conquest gear and also honor gear. But you could also use this guy right here also for all types of gear in the game if it says upgradable on the top. So yes, even raid and mythic gear. Now for both the conquest gear and the honor gear, you need to upgrade with honor points. So you don't have to burn through conquest points to upgrade your gear, you just use honor points, which is much more easier to obtain. Now let's talk a bit about upgrading PvP gear and how it works in Dragonflight. Upgrading your gear in Dragonflight does not give you any advantage at all in a PvP situation when it comes to arenas and battlegrounds. As we see on the conquest gear where it says at the bottom that it is going to go up to 424 item level in arenas and battlegrounds, that is where this piece of gear is going to remain. However, what upgrading this gear does for you is in a PvE, like a raid or a world type situation. So if you want to use conquest gear, for example, in world PvP, upgrading the gear will definitely be an advantage. Making it also where you could even pull off some raids and mythics with conquest gear at an upgradable level to be more competitive with people that are PvE geared. So again, you cannot upgrade crafted gear or the Drakebreakers. Okay, now last but not least is the Great Vault. This is something you want to check on a weekly basis to see if you get a really good piece of PvP gear which is given to you randomly. And it's been like this ever since they came out with the Great Vault, which is something that is not new to Dragonflight. But keep in mind, to be able to use the Great Vault, you do have to do rated PvP. So you have to do either like rated battlegrounds or rated arenas. Random battlegrounds will not count for the Great Vault. That's the reason why mine is blank at this moment, because I haven't done any rated PvP yet. And again, this gear should be of conquest level. And there we have it. So I think that we summed it up pretty good in today's video. We tied it all together. So we learned more about the PvP gear, how it works, how it scales, also about upgrading some of the gear, what works for world PvP, what works for rated PvP, and all the above. And if you guys made it this far into the video, I really appreciate it. So for more awesome videos coming your way, remember to sub up, ring that bell notification down below, and also leave a comment. We love to hear from you. And after all this is free. And we will catch you the next time.